Rogan for. The narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Look, I haven't seen anything that's confirmed.
Whoa. Murder for having a different opinion from somebody else.
No one saw this coming. Not the fans, not the podcast listeners, and certainly not those closest to the late Charlie Kirk. Out of nowhere, Joe Rogan, the man known for saying what others are too afraid to, just dropped a revelation that has sent shockwaves through social media. With a single comment, he hinted that Charlie Kirk's widow may have been hiding a secret relationship, one that no one, not even Charlie's own parents, ever expected. The way Rogan said it wasn't playful or speculative, it was heavy. His tone carried weight, as if he knew more than he was letting on. And that's what made it different. This wasn't gossip for clicks, it felt like a truth that had been sitting in silence for far too long. As soon as the clip hit the internet, fans were left questioning everything. Was this a misunderstanding, a private pain, or a hidden chapter in Erika's life that was never meant to surface? And more importantly, what made Joe Rogan decide to speak now? Because when Joe talks, people listen. And this time, knew the pain behind the story. And that tone gave the rumor a new kind of credibility, one that fans couldn't ignore. Social media exploded. Fans clipped and replayed that exact segment again and again, dissecting every gesture, every shift in Joe's tone, looking for clues. Comment sections filled with thousands of posts, some defending Erika, others questioning everything they thought they knew about the Kirk family. Because in the world of public figures, grief is often performed, not lived. And when Joe Rogan, the man famous for calling out hypocrisy and exposing uncomfortable truths, chose to say this, it left millions wondering, was he trying to protect Erika by being vague? Or was he warning the public that not everything they've been told about her story is real? Whatever his intention, one thing was clear: Joe Rogan had opened a door that couldn't be closed. The internet did what it always does best. It went into full investigation mode. Within hours of Joe Rogan's podcast clip surfacing, Reddit threads, TikTok breakdowns, and YouTube gossip channels were ablaze with theories about who Erika Kirk might have been involved with. The rumor mill was relentless, connecting dots that may or may not have existed, but the narrative was too emotional to ignore. Some fans claimed that the mystery man was someone close to Charlie's world, possibly a mutual friend or a colleague who had been there to support Erika during her darkest days. Others speculated that it was someone from outside the conservative circle entirely, someone who offered her peace away from the constant scrutiny. And while none of this was proven, the timing, the subtle social media interactions, and the emotional undertones in certain posts only fueled the fire. What made it more complicated was the nature of grief itself. Many fans, especially women who had experienced loss, defended Erika passionately. They argued that love and healing don't follow a script, that finding comfort in someone new doesn't mean betrayal. Sometimes, one comment read, "The heart doesn't wait for permission to start beating again." But others weren't as forgiving. A darker corner of the internet began calling it disrespectful, even disloyal. They questioned whether this supposed relationship began too soon, or worse, before Charlie's death. The speculation turned personal, emotional, and deeply divided the online community. For every fan empathizing with Erika's pain, there was another accusing her of rewriting the story of her marriage. And through it all, Joe Rogan stayed silent, refusing to clarify his words, letting the conversation spiral naturally. That silence only made things worse, because without confirmation or denial, fans began to believe the story even more. What started as a single cryptic comment had now turned into one of the most discussed emotional scandals in the conservative world, a love story that blurred the line between heartbreak and betrayal. And now, people weren't just asking if the secret was true, they were asking who else knew. As the rumor spread like wildfire, the emotional weight of it began to sink in. What started as an online debate quickly turned into something much deeper, a collective reckoning with love, loss, and loyalty. For those who had followed Charlie and Erika Kirk's story for years, this wasn't just gossip, it felt personal. People had watched them build a life rooted in faith, partnership, and purpose. To hear that there might have been a hidden chapter, one wrapped in grief and secrecy, shook fans to their core. Erika, who had largely stayed off social media, suddenly found her name trending everywhere. Photos of her smiling, old clips of her interviews, even her quotes about faith after loss were being re-examined under a new lens. Some fans saw a woman trying to hold her world together, while others saw signs of a private emotional struggle she could no longer hide. The idea that she might have found comfort in someone else didn't just divide people, it made them question what healing really looks like after tragedy. Charlie's parents, who had long been quiet and respectful of Erika's privacy, reportedly felt blindsided by the sudden swirl of attention. For them, Joe Rogan's words didn't just reopen old wounds, they shattered the fragile peace they'd been holding on to since Charlie's death. Tolos, son es inimaginable. But to then face rumors about the woman he loved most, that's a pain few could understand. And through it all, Joe Rogan's comment echoed like an emotional aftershock. Some believed he had no right to bring it up, that it was insensitive to talk about something so private. Others praised him for his honesty, saying he only hinted at what many already suspected but were too afraid to voice. Either way, his words ignited a conversation about how we, as a culture, handle grief, loyalty, and the gray areas in between. Because when love is lost, people seek solace in unexpected places, and when public figures grieve, their pain becomes a spectacle analyzed, debated, and consumed. But behind all the noise, one truth remains. No one really knows what happens behind closed doors, or how far a heart will go just to feel whole again. And now, as fans wait for a response from Erika, from Charlie's family, or even from Joe Rogan himself, one thing's certain. This story isn't over. It's only getting started. When you strip away the headlines, the podcast clips, and the online chaos, what remains is something far more human and far more painful. This story was never truly about scandal or secrets. It was about grief and the way people cope with it when the world is watching. For Erika Kirk, every smile, every word, every step forward has been examined, judged, and debated since the day she lost Charlie. And maybe that's what makes this entire situation so complicated. She's a woman trying to heal in a world that refuses to let her do it quietly. The internet has a way of forgetting that grief doesn't follow rules. There is no timeline, no roadmap, no perfect version of moving on. What looks like betrayal to one person might look like survival to another. And maybe that's what Joe Rogan was hinting at, not a scandal, but the unspoken truth that even the strongest people break when the cameras stop rolling. Erika's silence, in many ways, has become her shield. She hasn't confirmed, denied, or defended herself, and that silence speaks volumes. Some say it's her way of maintaining dignity. Others see it as quiet guilt. But perhaps it's neither. Perhaps her silence is the only power she has left. A way to protect her peace in a world that's already taken so much from her. Because sometimes, the truth isn't the part that shocks people, it's who finally says it. Joe Rogan's words may have opened a wound that never fully healed. But they also reminded the world of something we often forget. Behind every story is a heartbeat. Behind every headline is a human being. And whether Erika's story is one of love, loss, or redemption, it forces us all to ask a difficult question. How much of someone's private pain do we have the right to expose? As the dust begins to settle, one question hangs heavy in the air. What happens now? Joe Rogan's words, whether intentional or not, have opened a floodgate that can't be closed. Millions have heard them, dissected them, and formed their own conclusions. And now, the pressure is building from all sides. Fans, media, and even people within Rogan's own circle are waiting to see if he'll address the growing storm head-on or quietly step away from it. Will Joe double down on his claim, revealing more details about what he knows? Or will he walk it back, calling it a misunderstanding, just an offhand comment that spiraled out of control? Those who know Rogan best say that he doesn't usually backtrack. When he says something, he stands by it. But this time feels different. The emotional weight of this story involving a widow, a family, and the memory of a man many admired could push him into unfamiliar territory. Meanwhile, the spotlight on Erika Kirk is only getting brighter. Her silence, once seen as graceful and respectful, is now being interpreted as strategic. Each day she says nothing. The speculation grows louder. Some close friends have hinted that she's considering speaking out, not to feed the rumors, but to reclaim her narrative before others twist it further. Whether that means a heartfelt statement, an interview, or simply a quiet acknowledgement remains to be seen. And then there's Charlie Kirk's legacy, the foundation of this entire story. His name has become part of a public debate that's now about more than just politics or faith. It's about love, loyalty, and how far people will go to protect the ones they've lost. For his parents, this moment must feel unbearable, watching strangers on the internet dissect their son's memory and their daughter-in-law's private life. But one thing is clear. This story has changed how fans see everyone involved. Joe Rogan, once seen as the ultimate truth teller, now stands at a crossroads between courage and controversy. Erika Kirk, the once untouchable symbol of strength and faith, is now being viewed through a lens of mystery and vulnerability. And Charlie Kirk's legacy, once defined by his message, is now shadowed by whispers of what was left unsaid. What he revealed might not just change how fans see Charlie's widow, it could change how they see Charlie's entire legacy. To understand why Joe Rogan's revelation hit so hard, we have to go back to where it all began. The love story, the loss, and the silence that followed. Charlie Kirk, known for his unapologetic voice and massive influence in conservative circles, built a public image rooted in conviction and family values. At his side was Erika Kirk, graceful, composed, and loyal. Together, they symbolized strength, faith, and resilience in a world often divided by politics and fame. But when tragedy struck and Charlie passed away, the world saw a different side of Erika. Publicly, she appeared calm, dignified even, but those close to her say she carried a quiet sadness, one that never fully healed. She stepped back from the spotlight, focusing on privacy and faith, rarely speaking about her husband or the painful journey that followed. And that's why Joe Rogan's words hit like a thunderclap. When someone as respected and influential as Rogan hints that something deeper was happening, something emotional, possibly romantic during or after such a devastating loss, people can't help but listen. Rogan didn't sound judgmental. He sounded reflective, almost like he was torn between empathy and disbelief. Because the truth he hinted at wasn't about scandal, it was about humanity. About what people do when grief turns to loneliness, and how love, loyalty, and loss can blur into one heartbreaking secret. It all started during one of Joe Rogan's long-form podcast conversations, the kind where topics flow effortlessly from politics to philosophy to deeply personal stories. Somewhere in the middle of a discussion about honesty in public life, Joe paused. His tone shifted. Listeners could tell something serious was coming. Then, almost casually, but with unmistakable weight, he mentioned Charlie Kirk's widow. He said there were things people don't know about that situation, adding that sometimes, grief connects people in ways outsiders can't understand. He didn't name names, didn't point fingers, but he didn't have to. The silence that followed said it all. His co-host stayed quiet. The air in the studio seemed heavier, and fans watching the livestream picked up on the tension immediately. Within minutes, clips started circulating online, and people began decoding every word, every expression, every pause. That one line, grief connects people in ways outsiders can't understand, became the spark that lit the fire. Fans began speculating that Rogan was hinting at a secret relationship Erika may have had after Charlie's passing, possibly with someone within his close circle or connected to his legacy. Others believed Rogan was referring to something that started long before the tragedy, something hidden under the surface, shielded by loyalty and silence. What made the revelation so gripping wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. Joe Rogan didn't sound gossipy or cruel. He sounded conflicted, almost empathetic, as if in the end, the truth might not be what shocks people most. It's what happens after it's exposed. Because once a secret enters the public eye, no one, not even Joe Rogan, Erika Kirk, or the Kirk family, can ever go back to the way things were before. At the end of the day, no one truly knows the full truth, only those who lived it. Behind the headlines, behind the whispers, are real people navigating loss, love, and the unbearable weight of public scrutiny. What Joe Rogan said may have cracked open a story the world wasn't ready to hear, one that blurs the line between truth, loyalty, and grief. But whether this was a moment of revelation or a misunderstanding gone too far, one thing is certain. When Joe Rogan speaks, the world listens. And this time, his words may have opened a door that can never be closed. This story isn't finished, it's still unfolding. And every new detail could change everything we think we know about Erika Kirk, Charlie's legacy, and the truth behind this hidden connection. So stay tuned, because this is one chapter that's far from over. If you've been following this emotional story, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we'll keep uncovering the truths others are too afraid to talk about. Your voice matters, your opinion matters, and this conversation is just getting started.